Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the show. As you saw last week, I kind of changed things up a bit, calling this more of a podcast. We got the Poor Resellers Almanac, a little play on Ben Franklin there. And that'd be cool just to switch it up, change it into a podcast format. I'm gonna do this once a week and I'll hopefully drop it every Saturday, although last week I think I dropped it on Sunday. I'm gonna drop it on this channel, and I started a second channel. The actual name of the channel is Poor Resellers Almanac. So if you're interested, it's the same thing. I'm just putting it on this channel for now. Why? So I can get views and make a little money on the video as well too. And then also too, this will reach more people, not just from a viewer standpoint or getting views standpoint, but also more reach. People will see more of the what solds and all that, because we will be doing the what solds here. First part of the video will be what sold. Second part will be discussion. And so please like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. And we'll be talking a little tech today. I did have a meeting with eBay earlier this week. I'll discuss a little bit about that, not too much, and not really anything that's no insider information. I'll tell you that right now. And so let's do some what sold, and I think I'm going to kind of stick to the breakdown, of fees and how I did it last week as well too. So everybody, if anybody new joins in, they'll catch that part as well too. They don't have to go back and rewatch a video. They can watch the video now. You'll see the breakdown of fees and all that, and I'll try to find different categories so you'll see what the different fees look like in different categories as well too. So otherwise. Oh, let's get into the pour. First, we're also going to do whiskey. Let's talk a little bit of whiskey as well, too. What do we have here? We have a Starward. This is an Australian whiskey. It is a malted barley, so should be very similar to a Scotch. And the thing about this one, everybody has their little stamp they want to put on their whiskey. Or anything for that matter. Everybody wants to put their own little stamp on something. But, so this is, let's see, matured in Australian red wine cask. And the barrels are steamed and not charred. So they're not charred to retain the penetration of wine into the wood. So, I've already opened this one. I've already had, sips of this whiskey already too. And it's very good, very good. Nice. It's a bit of a sweeter whiskey, really, really nice. Definitely one that, if, someone's looking to get into whiskey, definitely one that, is a little more easier on the palate. I believe it's a little more easier on the palate. Although, everybody's different in the way they, their taste buds and everything are different. So you never know. Yeah, I'll just make sure that's clean. I'm pretty sure that was clean. Let's do a bit of a pour. And we're doing a bit of a bigger pour because these videos are going to be a little bit longer. We'll do a little bit more. Just a tad more there. Okay, there we go. That's good enough. That is a good enough pour. As you can see, a nice, deep, rich mahogany look to it. I think it's only, was it 2 years? I think it's only 2 years. Let me see. 2 years. I'm pretty sure it's only 2 years. Matured for 2 years. 2 years. So it's only 2 years. And look at that. Probably getting that rich color from the red wine barrels. So, because 2 years is a very short amount of time. But, just look at the bottle. Really cool bottle. If you're into anything, space, sci-fi, Star Wars, Star Trek, nice bottle. Okay. I was going to pull out another whiskey, but I was like, wow, that is a hot one, another high proof one. And I was like, we can't do all high proof on that. I don't have nothing but high proof. I have plenty of other whiskeys. It was just like, this is a 40, a 41, so it's pretty standard Scotch type of whiskey. Scotch is usually 40% and 40% alcohol, 80 proof is what it is. And this is a 41. So, very sweet. Jump right into it. Very sweet. Very, very little smoke. So, I mean, if you like smoky whiskeys, definitely not a whiskey for you. Very much a sweet, a little bit of heat there, not too much. We'll let it breathe for a little bit here, and definitely one. As you can see, I don't really, when it comes to whiskey, I really like to enjoy the expression as it is. Sometimes I'll a little bit of water. Occasionally, I will do rocks or ice. It's not something I typically do. More towards the summer because it's hot, because it's hot around here, and generally I will do that with with higher proof whiskey. The one that really comes to mind is something like Knob Creek. Really great over ice, in my opinion. But something like this type of whiskey, a Starward whiskey, in my opinion, doesn't really require anything else. Doesn't really require water. Doesn't really require over rocks. It might dilute all the flavor out of there, from this whiskey. So it's fairly light, even though it looks dark, rich. It's a very, very light whiskey. So definitely something, if like I said, if somebody looking to get into whiskey, you want to recommend a whiskey, this would definitely be a great one to recommend, in my opinion. I was just looking back in the cabinet as well too, and I do have a bottle. Next week I'll probably do a bottle of I have an unopened Green Spot, which is that's a Irish whiskey. So we'll break into that one next whiskey next week. So. That's good. That's a good Friday. It's Friday for me right now, so this will come out on Saturday, but it's the start of the weekend, so that's a very, very good start to the weekend whiskey. All right. I think all whiskeys are probably a good start to the weekend. But let's go ahead and get into we'll do the what's sold, and let's do the break. We're going to do the breakdown first. So this is the breakdown of the fees, how much somebody paid for it, the shipping and all that stuff. So you'll see the full breakdown of an item here. Let me pull up the picture. So it's an Apple Watch. Not my traditional background. My daughter was cleaning her room, and this was her watch, her Apple Watch. It's a first gen, so an older watch, and she just wasn't using it. It was just stashed in her room, and she was cleaning her room. She was like, "Oh, I don't wear this anymore. Do you want to do something with it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'll sell it. Why not? It's an Apple product. We'll sell it." And so I was on the dinner table, and I just snapped a quick picture right there on the table. It's an Apple Watch. I mean, you really don't need too much to sell an Apple. You just need a nice clear picture. That's pretty much it. Of course, I took additional pictures of the back, of the sides, and all that. It was still in great condition, so no real issues there. But you can see the title there: Rose Gold Apple iWatch. The model number, how the size of the case, and all that stuff there. And what did it sell for? What did it sell for? I hope I go in the right direction here. Let me make sure I go in the right direction. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Perfect. So what did it sell for? So the total it sold for was $40.99. The shipping was $6.66. And sales tax was $2.46. So the sales tax is based just on wherever the person is, whatever the sales tax is for where they're at. So for a grand total of $50.11, that's what the person paid. They paid that amount. Now, what did we earn? What do we earn from that? We earn, let's see, we got to start subtracting there. So we take out the sales tax, of course, the transaction fees, and I'll do a little breakdown of the actual fees shortly. $4.46 is what the eBay's taking out of there. Then the label, how much the actual label costs. So I did price this one up a little bit, or increase the shipping just a little bit, because it is an Apple product, and people will pay up for Apple products, especially watches, phones, earpods, all that stuff. So they'll pay up for those. So you can definitely increase your shipping a little bit more than normal. And so the actual cost of the shipping label was $4.58. So we made a little bit of money there. And then this was an ad fee. So this was sold on an ad. I did put an ad on, or I put 9% on this. This is a first gen So it's not one of the more modern ones. I wanted to get in front of people's faces. I wanted to price it a little bit towards the lower part. It could have probably got a little bit more out of it, but I was like, I'll just price it a little bit lower. My daughter was using this the whole time. So yeah, we have money into it. I didn't buy this brand new, first of all. So I don't even remember how much I paid for it. I got it a couple years ago now, or 3 years ago now. So I really don't recall what I paid for it. So I was like, we'll just make something back. But there is a cost, there is some sort of cost associated with this. I just don't know what it is because it's been so long and she's been using it. Well, she has been using it for a while now. So, and that's a great way to get started just on eBay is just stuff you have laying around the house. Things you just aren't using anymore. Clothing you aren't using anymore. Shoes you aren't using anymore. Just start going around your house, finding items that you can sell online. It's a great way to get started. Some people are always like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to get started here or what I should do. I'll wait till next month. Just, go around your house. Find items you have laying around your house. I'm pretty sure there are valuable things around your house that you can sell. And this happened to be laying around my daughter's room. So we have an ad fee. So what did I tell you? 9%. I put 9% on this just to get try to get some more eyes. I really don't like to cross the 10% threshold. It's just it's just my personal what I prefer not to do. I just prefer not to do it. You can do whatever you want. Depending upon your own situation. You have to definitely. How much do you have into the items? Can you afford to promote this? I recommend trying it out, testing it out if you can, if that's built into, if you bought it low enough to be able to afford to promote, try it out and see, it's a little bit of trial and error, trying to figure out what works best for you and your situation. Everybody's a little bit different. Obviously, if you're going to promote it, the goal is to sell it faster. So do you need it to sell faster? Do you not need it to sell faster? There's so many, it's up to you. The choice is yours. I definitely will recommend giving it a try. And yeah, if you want to promote, if you want to move items quick, give it a try and just see what works for you. You can start out with the lowest if you want, which is like 2% is the lowest. You could possibly promote. This is standard promotions, by the way. You can, play around with it. And like I said, you just got to find the right balance. And for me, in my opinion, for this item, I was like, I'm going to do 9%, try to get it sold quick. And so we had to pay an additional $4.51 in promotion. For a grand. So what is actually deposited into the account and what we actually make on this item, $34.10. So, not too bad. We got like, what is that? Like just over $6. Was that about $7? Yeah, probably about $7-ish or so. But let's go ahead and do the breakdown of the actual fees. Now the ad fee won't be in this. This is the actual ad fee. So, let's go to the actual fees. So the actual fees will be this transaction fees part right here. This is the actual breakdown. So we have the final value fee of $4.06, and you will see how they get there right here. So for this category that the watch is in, the smartwatch is in, it's only 9%. And in my previous video, you saw it was 12 point something percent. So here it is 9%. And then the 51.11 is the grand total with everything in there, the shipping, the sales tax and all that. So that's how they get the $4.51. But then you want to subtract, because I am a top-rated plus seller. And how do you get there? You have to offer free shipping with at least a 30-day return window, and you have to be able to ship at the very least by the next business day. And so then you get the additional 10%. Now, what that 10% does here most of the time, and for me, is it pretty much cancels out this, this final value fee, the 40 cents. A lot of people forget about that. There's a 40 cents if you have $10, as you can see right there, $10.01, you pay an additional 40 cents, and it's 30 cents if it sells for under that. So that additional, 10% that I get off this sale, pretty much just cancels that out, as you can see here. So for the grand total of $44.46 for the total fees, of course, plus the additional promotion fee. So cool. All right, kind of cool. I'm trying to remember like what I paid for it, and I don't really recall. It wasn't, too much, but hey, sometimes when you sell stuff around your house, you're not going to get back what you ultimately paid for it, especially if you bought at retail at a Target or Walmart or anything like that. You're just making a little bit of money back. And I do this a lot with Legos. When I buy my Lego sets, because I primarily collect the minifigures, and so I know I'm not going to make all that money back on a Lego set when I purchase it and then resell the pieces that are not the minifigures. But I'm just hoping to kind of recoup a little bit of that cost back to support my hobby addiction of minifigures, of Legos. So, okay, so that's a little breakdown of the fees, the cost. I always assume when I am buying items to resell, I'm always under the assumption that I'm going to be paying the top amount, which, if I'm not mistaken, and if you know a little bit more than me, you can definitely, drop a comment down below, but I believe it's 15% would be the top, I believe. I may be wrong on that. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I automatically assume I'm going to be paying that amount. But I do keep an eye on this stuff. You definitely want to go in there, look at the fees, make sure they're charging you appropriately from time to time. I don't go check every single item. I'll go in like once a week and just kind of do a little audit, check one here, one there, one there, one there. Just double check and make sure that I am getting charged appropriately. So definitely something that you want to make sure to keep an eye on, because I've heard, never happened to me, but I've heard of stories of some people getting just charged a crazy amount for, and it was an error. Like who knows? It was just computer error, calculation error, something. And then they have to go get that correct. They have to call in and get it correct. Not call in. You have to wait for a call back to get that corrected. So I've heard of that issue occurring. Never happened to me, but nonetheless, I still go in there and I double check everything and make sure, the fees are correct. Okay. Now let's move on to the what's sold. Go back over here. All right. So right off the bat here, and I picked up another barometer, a really cool one today. I just happened to be at Savers, and I was in the area. I was dropping off packages. I was dropping my son off the mall, and I was like, you know what, Savers is right around the corner, and I just went ahead and popped over there really quick. I was like, all right, I have my camera with me. I was like, yeah, I might shoot a video. I might not shoot a video. We'll see. I might use the footage. I might not use the footage. But I did find some cool items. And I found another barometer thermometer. It's like a globe or Sputnik style. Really, really cool one. And you'll see that come up in a video pretty soon. But here's one here. A really cool brand to look out for. Luft. Barometer, thermometer. Vintage. Made in Germany. Really cool. This sold incredibly fast. It sold within about a couple hours after I listed it. And, when you see the video come out, you'll see what I thought I could potentially get for it based on comps and everything. But I actually got an offer of, and I paid, I paid under $5. You'll see the video. When the video comes out, you'll see how much I actually paid for it. I think it was $4.89 if I'm not mistaken. I have to go double check. I have that footage. But my pictures are not in order right now, so it's throwing me off. Okay, so $45. $45 is what this ended up selling for. Person shot me an offer within a couple hours. They shot me an offer, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm making money on it. Let's do it." So I pulled the trigger. $45 even. $7.67 is what they paid in shipping. This went in a $9.75 box. By the way, the watch went inside a tiny 4x6. No, I have a little bit bigger in my poly bags. It went in a small poly bag. I think they're 6x8 size. I don't do the 4x6 anymore because a few years ago I was having an issue where they were getting lost, and so I stopped using that size altogether, and I only use now. I have to double check on Uline, but I believe it's 6x8. I believe it's 6x8, and I got white ones too, so that they can always be seen. But $975 is what this went into. That's actually a plastic. It's not even glass. Yeah, and the outer part is brass. Really cool mid-century modern piece. And as you can see, I put the MCM in there. Throw that mid-century modern in there. Barometers do really well, especially the good vintage, the good well-made ones do really well. So definitely keep your eye out for them. This is definitely a good name to look out for. And it was just sitting on the shelf at a Goodwill. And you'll see that video, probably out maybe not next week, but maybe the week afterwards is when that video will come out. But really, really cool. So cool piece, easy to ship, and it was lightweight. Barely reached over a pound. And it went somewhere close because that shipping is a little low. So it must have gone, I don't remember exactly where it went, but it must have gone either to a state above me or to a state just to the, what would that be? To the right? To the right of me? That'd be the right of me or left of me? Whatever Nevada is. It went close, I'll tell you that right now. Okay, what's the next one here? Oh, this was a cool one. So, I was talking in the last video about decanters, and I had 2 decanters sell, really quickly. All of a sudden, they've been sitting out there for sale. Here's another decanter. I thought I sold out of decanters, but I forgot. I had this decanter in my inventory. Cobra. It's a Cobra. Obviously you can see that. There was no list. There's no brand name on it. There was no other listings for me to go off of. Kind of interesting though, because Costco has their Chinese New Year brandy. They do this brand. I have a Dragon brandy over there from a few years ago. I don't like brandy, so it just sits there. But they so this year, along with the Dragon, they have the all little tiny, different zodiac animals, and one of them was a snake, and it was actually a tiny little cobra like this. So I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, that is so strange. But this is a large one. This is a large style. Couldn't really find anything on it. There was nothing in eBay, nothing for me to go off of, and I just kind of thought the cool factor was there. And it was a decanter. It does have a little cork on the back of it. It is a very thin glass. And as you can see, Cobra glass decanter. I kind of throw whiskey in there all the time with a lot of decanters because, except for, ones that are for wine. But I throw whiskey in there because, whiskey is popular. A lot of people like whiskey. Bottle, barware, decor, snake, Chinese New Year, because this is the year of the snake, if you don't know. And New Year's coming up quick. I think I have another Chinese New Year's item in this video here coming up. So really, really cool item. Definitely keep your eye out for these cool, unique decanters. It's a little difficult. I was kind of using my experience on it. I was kind of like, man, this thing is just too cool to pass up. It had a nice polished bottom on it. Very thin glass, though. Very, very thin. And I just thought it was so cool. And, again, this is one of those things where I just pat myself on the back. I know what I'm doing. I know what's cool. I know what sells. I know how to sell items. And so this one sold. Really cool. Oh, what did it sell for? $61.14 is what it sold for, what they paid. They also paid the shipping, which was $8. This one went pretty close to, I believe, if I remember correctly, this one went up to Oregon. So $61.14, $8 when a 12 by 10 by 10 size box is what this went into. So really cool piece. And then we have another art. I should have chose a different picture for this one, but because this one really doesn't do it justice. But it was a really nice marble. I believe several videos ago I had shown a couple of marbles that had sold. But here's another cool marble that I got with other marble. The other 2 marbles that I got with this one sold fairly quickly. This one took a couple of months to sell, But I thought this was the better one of them, but finally sold. So really cool. Yeah, that's just a rubber band underneath it. I just put that rubber band there so it can stay up because it's a marble. It would roll around everywhere. But it looks really cool. And if you look at it from the top, kind of looks like a galaxy, which is why I threw galaxy in there. We have glitter. It has the stars in there as well, too. Just a really cool piece. You know, something to definitely keep an eye out for with these art glass pieces. Just recently I was at Goodwill and I picked up a couple of, I didn't buy them, but I picked them up and could tell that the glass just wasn't really that good. They were just a couple of paperweights and they were just not good glass. So I left them behind. They were priced well, but I just didn't think that they were, you know, the best quality. And so I ended up leaving those. But this one here is just a really nice feeling glass. You know, there's some glass that kind of feels like plasticky. And, you know, this one, no. This one was very high quality. Very cool. It's just something you kind of have to get used to by being out there in the field, you know, with different pieces of glass, and then eventually you'll get the hang of it. You get the, you know, the feel of the glass, and you'll learn. I mean, it takes time, and you know, you just got to get out there and see what's good, and see what's not good. And this one in a poly bag. You know, I wrapped it about 4 times in bubble wrap, and went in a bubble mailer. So really cool. It's very solid piece. Fairly heavy. Almost 1 pound is what this came to. It was like 14 ounces. Oh, okay. Here's the other Chinese New Year here. So we have Disney Parks. It's from Disney Parks. And obviously it has the dragon, you know, headband on there too. Mickey Mouse, Lunar New Year, dragon plush. I don't really think I have to say too much about it. But most Disney plush or stuff that comes from Disney Store, Disney Parks, it doesn't really sell that well. I think just Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse are just, you know, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. They make so many of them. So, you know, the market's kind of flooded with those things. And I think that's what really drives the cost down on those, especially the ones from the parks itself, Disneyland and or Disney World, even though those have a little bit more of a limited or kind of harder to get because you got to go to the parks to actually get those. And but some of them do, you know, command a little bit of a premium, and this is one, especially right now with Chinese New Year right around the corner, that's sold fairly well. $32.61 is what it sold for. $9.31 is what they paid in shipping. Because this was after I did put this in a box, because in a 12 by 8 by 6 box, because I didn't want the actual like felt headband part here to bend. So I did put this in a box, and it set on its way. So really cool item, cool piece. Chinese New Year is probably too late to, you know, if you're just seeing this video now, it's probably too late to get your Chinese New Year stuff up. But you know, definitely want to prep for that and prepare for that time of the year, that holiday. Because it's very big, especially very big in our area as well too. You know, we're very close to, we have Chinatown here, Japantown, so a lot of Asian communities in our city, so it's a very big deal in our city. I think you might know about San Francisco. San Francisco has the parades and all that stuff. I think they do a parade in downtown as well too here, if I'm not mistaken. But very big deal. And get your items up. You know, right now it's probably too late, but you know, for the future, just be mindful of that and pay attention to what the animal is that year. Okay, we did the Mickey. I should cross these out so I don't get so my eyes don't go cross looking at all this here. Okay. This is the Gerber Baby. So I found this at the flea market. It's a belt buckle. Really cool. Solid brass. Of course, the Gerber Baby, pretty iconic. I believe the Gerber Baby, if I'm not mistaken, was the woman that was the medicine woman. I forget her name. Can't remember her name, but I believe she was something medicine woman in the TV show. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she was the Gerber Baby. So very iconic image if you ever had children, you know. If you ever had children, ever bought Gerber products, you'll be familiar with the Gerber baby. And so I figured the belt buckle would be, popular, would sell. And it sold. $19.41 is what it sold for. $5.21 is what the shipping was. And this went in a small padded poly bag. So it's really cool. Belt buckles do really well. I definitely sell, quite a few belt buckles. One thing really quick about, when someone says, I sell a bunch of these, I sell a lot of these, I sell a ton of these. I've been hearing a lot of people say, I sell a ton of these items. I sell a ton of these. I sell a ton of that. I sell a ton of that. Ton is a lot. That's a big, big number. So I may have even said it a few times as well too. So, I do sell quite a few belt buckles, or it's a popular seller of mine. Items I do like to pick up because it's pretty consistent. I'm not going to say ton. I got to make sure not to say ton. I've been hearing a lot of people say it, and I can't think if I use that word or not, but, no one's selling a ton of anything. I'll tell you that right now. At a time. I'm not selling a ton of any one thing. I'm selling a lot of some things. Some categories do better than others. Some categories do fairly well for me, and are consistent sellers. Like purses, they are consistent sellers for me. It's a category I do really well in. They consistently sell. Watches, I consistently sell watches all the time. I don't think I have any watches in here, but I did find a swatch over at. I haven't been finding any swatches as of late, but I did find one today. It was very dirty, so it's going to require a little bit of work to clean it up. But I thought it was really cool, and swatches do really well. So I do like to sell watches, but make sure, the one thing about watches is make sure they sell well if you can replace the battery in it. So Amazon, probably the best place to get a bunch of batteries. And every time I run out of batteries, I just order another set. They usually come in like 10 packs or something like that, and comes in handy. Get yourself a watch tool kit as well too. Comes in handy as well too. Helps you open. Some of the backs are kind of weird, and it'll help you getting into some of those backings of the watches. Okay, this here's a vintage address book, and so these things still do sell. Not everybody puts, I guess a lot of people put stuff in their phones and all that, but not everybody. Some people still like to handwrite everything. And, just like organizers, planners, all that stuff, they do really well. I sell, it's a very good category for me. I do sell quite often in that category. And here we go. Another address book calendar organizer. Really cool. Now what really, I wouldn't have not have picked this up if it was just a blank, black a faux leather cover, but the fact that it had the rose on there really was what I think got this item sold, and I definitely included that in the title. Really cool, just retro piece here. Keep your eye out for it. Address books, planners, these vintage stuff, people still look out for these things. The vintage do a lot better than some of the modern ones do really well too. If you can get them for a good price, they don't really go for that much, but the retro older style do a lot better. $15.88 is what it sold for. $6.66 is what the shipping charge was on that. And this went in a padded poly mailer. Okay. Next item up here is a Starbucks puzzle. Now, something to be on the lookout for, but I don't know. I don't know if it's really doing that well anymore. At least for me, it's not doing that well. Is the Starbucks Reserve. The Starbucks Reserve mugs or Starbucks Reserve anything, and this is a Starbucks Reserve puzzle, haven't been moving that well. So I have, along with other Starbucks mugs, unless it's something, a Starbucks, one of those at here, you are here style mugs, unless it's one that's not from our country, those aren't doing very well at all. So definitely be cautious and look them up. And also, too, they will be priced up. Whenever there's a Starbucks mug, it's going to be like $5. So at least for me, it's going to be $5. And the Reserve mugs used to do better, but not anymore. So I'm not really picking those up anymore. But this is a Reserve jigsaw puzzle, brand new, kind of cool, Never seen it in Starbucks stores before, but what did it sell for? It sold for $32.48. This went in one of my large padded poly bags, and $7.24 is what they paid in shipping. I definitely would not pick this up if it was used. I really don't pick up any puzzles if they are used, because you don't know. You want to start assembling puzzles. You want to waste time doing that. The money isn't there to waste the time in assembling puzzles. For most puzzles, I should say. Some puzzles are worth it. Just like every category, there are some that are worth it. But most puzzles, I come across at least, aren't worth the time if they are used, to try to go through it and try to figure out if there are any pieces that are missing or not. So I'll generally stick to the ones that are brand new. And this was brand new. So really cool Starbucks puzzle. Now here's an item. As you can see, the picture is fuzzy. And I'm like kicking myself for doing that, for putting a fuzzy picture in there. But it's still sold, and it's still sold within about an hour. It's sold fast. I believe the video already came out on this, and I put, if I'm not mistaken, I put listed value of $25 on this. This is what I thought I could get from it, but I did accept an offer, $22. So not too far off. But just the speed at which it sold was kind of amazed me. I'm surprised that, which, in eBay, you can set up, like reminders that if something, you can put in there, like, I want to see, Lego Star Wars. Anytime anybody posts anything for Lego Star Wars, you'll get either a push notification or an email or both. And so I'm guessing maybe this popped up like that. Like somebody was looking out for this and boom, bang, popped up on their phone. They saw it, shot me an offer of $22, and I was like, yep, we're making money on it. I'm accepting that offer. So I did, and $5.52 is what they paid in shipping, and this went in a padded poly bag. So I did, obviously, I wrapped it in a little bit of bubble wrap, 3 times the bubble wrap, just to, make sure the box didn't get crushed. It's a thin metal. The metal that's in there, it's plastic. I'm sorry, it's not plastic. It's actually glass, little thin glass, and some metal on the inside. And I didn't want any damage to happen to that. So I wrapped it up. In 3, it was already in packaging material inside the box. And obviously it had its own box as well too. So then sent on its merry way, and it made it. And really cool. It's a tea light. It's a tea light thing. And then the heat there's a little fan up there, and it causes the fan to spin. So somebody must have been on the lookout for something like this already, because I don't know. To me, it was random, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the video I said this is my shot in the dark item. I think, not 100% sure, but I really couldn't find anything on this little thing. I did find similar items like this, but not this exact one. So I really had no idea what to go on, and so we made some money on it. So that's great. We're making money. Okay, this is the second time I've sold this. I may or may not have featured this. The other one I sold in a video, but surprisingly, I just found this recently and sold it again. I did take an offer on this one, just because, just get it moving. It's a Santa Claus. It's Christmas in January. $28 is what I decided to accept on that. I was like, why not? We're making money on it, and I'll send it on its way, get it sold, get it moving. Christmas is, 11 more months away. So really cool. If you find these, buy them, sell them. They do incredibly well. Check the battery compartments, because they can potentially be, corroded. I looked at a clock today that was, heartbreaking, because it was a really cool clock, and they left the battery in there, and it was completely gone. It was going to be unsalvageable, because the corrosion had reached some of the wiring as well too, so there was going to be no coming back from that. And so check the battery compartments on these, and make sure that there's not too much corrosion. Make sure there's no corrosion. If that'd be even better. There's no corrosion in this one here. But just a cool piece, cool item. They sell incredibly fast. Keep your eye out for them. $28, $6.48 is what they paid in shipping. This one did go in a box. I did put this in a 6x6x6 box, which is my mug size box. Just because I didn't want anything to happen to it, didn't want anything to break on it, and it made my life feel easier putting it in a box. So really, really cool. So keep your eye out. Attico, Santa Claus, playing the drums. Plays different tunes as well, too. Different, obviously, Christmas tunes. Okay, this is really cool. Just really cool gothic look to it. Looks almost like the if you look at the little little latch, little handle thing there to open it, it looks like a door knocker. It's really cool. But KBD Gothic style purse, KBD Studio purse. Really, really nice, cool, soft leather on it. Just really well made. Really well made. As you can see, crossbody. If it's got crossbody, if you can get that across your body, I'm putting crossbody in the title. It's a popular word to use. Great keyword to use. Women bag studded. Christian because of the crosses. Christian Gothic. Gothic is a style. Many people associate it with people that dress like Gothic style dress wear, but it's also an architecture type of style as well too. Nice soft leather, really cool piece. And what did it sell for? $40.81. $6.84 is what they paid in shipping. It was a little heavy because of the metal pieces that are on this. It did have a little bit of weight to it, but we make money, a little bit of money on all the shipping here. Most of the shipping. Generally, if it's about 2 pounds, we're not going to make any money on that. If it's under a pound, we can generally make $1, $2 here or there. Generally, for the most part, it's about $1 or so that we can make on the shipping. What's next? Oh, I skipped one. Did I skip one? Oh, okay. That one will probably be coming up. I know there's something was out of order here, but just a really cool art glass piece. No name, no signature, no nothing. Kind of has like a shell design to it. Just a well-made business card holder. People still, I'm telling you, all this paper stuff, people still look out for items to house the paper stuff, like planners, business card holders. So if you got cool pieces, you can't pay too much. You can't pay too much for these things. $11.84 is what it sold for. $6.25 is what they paid in shipping. It was just a really cool glass piece, well made, handcrafted. It's gonna be a difficult sell. I'll tell you that right now. It's gonna be a difficult sell when you have really nothing to go on. You gotta get good at keywords, describing your item, trying to get the right, target the right buyer. Art glass is really, really good to use. Business card holder, obviously, what is it? Red, it's kind of iridescent look to it. What's the pattern? What does the pattern look like? And it definitely had like a shell, kind of sea snail look pattern to it to me. And then office desk. Where are you going to find this thing? Office desk decor. Really cool piece. Very well made. Again, another item. Just, there's one of a kind. There's none of like this out there. At least I couldn't find anything. If you can, let me know. But I couldn't find anything else like this. And it's a really cool piece. We got it sold. Cross that one out. Another interesting item. I believe this is the right one. Yeah, okay. This is this water game thing. If you remember any of these water games from back in the day, where you used to get the little rings or something like that, or get the little ball around a maze, or they have the little wheels that you would have to spin. Just this was a really cool. I've never seen this one before, but it's by Tommy, and it was cool. I thought it was cool. I picked it up. We sold it $15 even is what it sold for. $6.07 what they paid in shipping. Obviously I emptied the water out of it. I don't know if a lot of them you can, but this one you could. I was able to empty the water. Just be careful nothing else falls out of it. But it was a really cool piece. It did sell. I do remember these, playing with these on the road, going, hitting the road. We didn't have all the electronics that we have nowadays. I remember when the Game Boy came out. I didn't have a Game Boy, but I remember having little Tiger Electronics when those started to come out. But a lot of these little things. Yeah, I had a little electronic poker handheld. That was pretty cool. But when you're on a road trip, you got to find ways to entertain yourself. these were the ones I used. I played with. It was kind of cool. I remember the marble one. It was kind of like a manual pinball thing. That was kind of cool too. But it did sell, so keep your eye out for these things. It's not going to sell for too much. We're not going to get rich or anything off these. But if you can get it for like $1 or $2, great item to resell. Like I said, empty the water though. Empty the water. Now, something I really don't feature too much on these, but I do sell quite often, are shoes. And these are a pair of golf shoes. I found these, and again, another super fast seller. Sold within about an hour. Someone must have been looking out for these. Now, these ones here had a date of 00 on them. So the year 2000, you got to be cautious. You got to be aware of dry rot. You heard of dry rot in shirts, but it can happen to shoes as well too, especially shoes that have been unworn. And these looked unworn. They looked very unworn to me. I couldn't really tell 100%. I did list them as used because I could not tell. I bought them at the Goodwill, and I was pressing on them. I was twisting them. I was trying to make sure before I listed it that these things aren't going to fall apart, and generally they'll fall apart. All the the rubber and everything on the bottom would just disintegrate, and I couldn't get it to do it. So I'm guessing they're a-okay good. But what's also a-okay good is they went international. They went to Ireland, so I'm not going to see these things back. It's a great sale, and they sold incredibly rapidly. So really cool. As you can see, Nike Air had Nike Air on the back. Golf shoes, the Mary Jane style, women's 8.5, and what do they sell for? $35. So $35 what they sold for. They paid $10.67 in shipping, and they just had to get to the Chicago international shipping hub before eBay took it the rest of the way over to Ireland. So that's always great because I will not see these back. So pretty cool, but I did my best to test them to ensure that they were not dry rot, because they appear to never have been used. And I was twisting them, I was poking them, prodding them. I mean, not too crazy. I wasn't going like like a whole V pattern, but how someone would normally walk. I was testing it that way. I kind of twisted it a little bit, prodded it with my fingernail, tried to see if anything would happen, but nothing happened, and we will see. But let's cross that out. So those are cool. That's so fast, very fast. So if you do see these, pick them up. They will. I mean, I don't know if that was the only person looking for them, but they sold rapidly. And then here's the last item right here, and another item where I just patted myself on the back because I got this sold. It's no name. There's no name. There's no name etched on it. There's it's just a perfume bottle. Crystal glass. Yeah, you heard me. You saw me do a video on crystal glass. Crystal is glass in this instance. This is not a crystal. It's not a diamond. It's not quartz. It's not anything like that. It's glass with something added to it. Lead, other things are added to it to give it toughness, to give it a hardness that is similar to real crystal. It's basically just a marketing term. They're used crystal to tell you that this item is more durable. It's they can cut into it and make it make it faceted, and therefore you can get that cool reflection like on diamonds. Whenever they cut diamonds, you get that really cool glitter, glow, the shining of the the light reflecting off of it. You can do that. You can't do that with just regular old plain glass. You got to start adding stuff to it to build up, to make it harder, make it, when you're cutting it so it doesn't break when you cut it. So it could still break even though, once you start adding stuff to it, but it makes it a lot harder, a lot more durable. Okay, enough of me ranting on that. But a glass perfume bottle. I still throw crystal in there because people, associate it with this. This is associated with, it's a piece of crystal. People will say this is a piece of crystal, when technically it's not crystal, it's just the marketing term. Okay, enough ranting. But just a really cool perfume bottle, vintage, no name. Again, like I said, another pat on my back because I know what I'm doing. I know how to get these items sold. $27 what it's sold for, even. $6.84 is what they paid in shipping. This did go in a box. Because the inside, the dabber on the inside, you got to be cautious. That can easily break. So really, really cool. I really like the yellow on the top of this as well, too. Really cool piece here. And one thing about this, though, they did ask if I could ship it somewhere else. They were at their vacation home in Myrtle Beach. And I quickly, when someone does ask me that, first of all, my recommendation, if anybody sends you a message saying, hey, can you ship this somewhere else? Don't do it. Tell them, just tell them, you know what? I'll cancel the order. I'll put it back in there, and then you can enter the appropriate address you would like it shipped into. That would be, and then the reason for canceling would be, there's one in there for something wrong with their shipping address. That's the one you would select. So that way you don't have any issues with eBay, any dings into your account. But that would be that's my advice. I don't follow my advice because I've been doing this for quite some time. And I'll go in there and I'll look. How long has this person been on eBay? What, do they have any feedback? All that. So I quickly did that. It takes me, just a couple of seconds to do that. And then realize this person's been on there for over a decade. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure they're okay. And I'll be like, yeah, sure, no big deal. I'll take care of it and, ship it out. We still do run the risk if for some reason it does, the person does not get it, even if it says delivered. Even if it says delivered, you change the address, and the person claims not to get it because you changed the address, you're not covered. So you will get you have to refund them back their money. There's nothing you can do about it. You could call eBay because it is in the messaging system. eBay I've heard of it being, some leniency there because they did send you the message and it's in the messaging system. But don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up on it. So my advice, always, if someone is asking you to change the address, don't do it. Tell them, I'll cancel the order, I'll relist it, and then you can purchase it and put in the new address that you would like it shipped to. So that's my advice. I know I don't follow my advice, but that's the advice I will give to everybody out there in YouTube reselling world. Okay, that's the last what sold. Let's get into the discussion. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit of tech, and a little bit about reselling, and a little bit about the craziness of Pokemon. Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.